This week's Four Questions Journalist Spotlight is brought to you by Leff's Atlanta Media, Atlanta's best journalist database. Subscribe at leffsatlantamedia.com.
Welcome to another edition of our Four Questions Journalist Spotlight. Got a wonderful guest today. We have Christine Pullara, who is the host of Atlanta and Company on 11 Alive, WXIA-TV. Good afternoon, Christine.
Hi, Mitch. Thank you so much for just being interested and chatting like this. And I'm just so happy to see you happy and healthy. Wish we were in the studio together, but at least we're like this, right? Our new normal.
I know. We'll do that soon enough.
Yeah.
Well, give me. We're going to talk about the show, but let's talk about you first. Tell me. I know you've been doing this. You've been hosting the show for 12 years now. But what brought you to the show? Where were you before that?
Right before that, I was actually in Los Angeles. So I spent 10 years in California. Initially went from South Florida, where I was a news anchor in Fort Myers at the NBC station there, and was in love. And my boyfriend had moved to the Bay Area. So I wanted to make sure I stayed in broadcasting. I just gotten into television, specifically anchoring morning news, and found a great job at the NBC station in Salinas, Monterey, California, which was awesome. And then just doing it for only about 2 or 3 years, I realized that I loved what I was doing, but I didn't necessarily love news. And so I was like, what can I do? So I found some commercial agents and decided that I kind of wanted to go that freelance route, which was challenging at times, kind of feast or famine. But at the end of the day, that's what I've done. I've done freelance more than I have actually, worked as an employee of someone. So I've been in the business 27 years now, and most of it has been, doing projects. So I started doing commercials, voiceovers. I had a great show that was so much fun on HGTV. And then just kind of realized, all right, I want to get closer to my family in Tampa. So I thought, what's got a great, more of a variety of television than Tampa would be? Tampa would be news. So said, let me look into some Turner, Turner shows, Turner Broadcasting, and got a job here in Atlanta for, remember that network, Turner South? It was so awesome. Got a great fun show that was all about landscaping and sort of like a landscape ambush makeover, and did that.
Oh, yeah.
After that, I was a bushwhack, and they sold the network. And then I started working at Channel 11. So it's been a great ride. It really has, kind of doing so many different things. It's been a great experience, really.
So voiceover work. So will we hear your voice in unusual places still?
I don't think so. And if so, I want to check. Okay, I got my SAG card. Come on. Not recently, but I did, a lot for a car commercial, or for I did some medical, like industrials, where I was pronouncing huge medical terms that I was like, oh my God, help me. I'm like, maybe I need to dumb it down for myself. Oh God, that was tough. But but it's fun. Nothing that I know of is still in, well, I don't know. We might be able to dig something up on the good old internet. Who knows?
I had a client years ago who did, she did voiceovers for phone systems, like company phone systems.
Yes.
It'd be like, press 1 now.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did one of those when I was, still in Tampa, just starting off. It was like, welcome to Jenny's Flowers. We're located at 505.
I don't know if people still have. Do people still have phone systems? I guess some.
Yes, my husband's a small business owner, and I'm actually on his recording. Just like, hey, welcome. This is who we are. These are our hours of operation. That kind of thing.
So, what years were you at Turner?
So, I moved here in 2005, and unfortunately, Turner sold the network off to Fox Sports South.
Yeah.
And so, or it became Fox Sports South. And so I was there 2 years, but luckily I'd made some great connections and started working for Turner Sports, doing some online commentating for NASCAR.com, PGA.com. So that was fun too. NASCAR was interesting because I did not have really any knowledge of NASCAR. And so I was like, okay, I have to host this show with absolutely insatiable NASCAR fans. So it was like baptism by fire for me, but I loved it. And they are the drivers. Oh my God, I loved meeting them. And just, again, just one of those things that I never thought I would do. And I'm happy that I dug in and had the experience.
Yeah, I was curious. I was over there from 99 to 02. So we didn't quite cross paths over there. I worked at Turner Learning, the education division over there for a couple of years. But I worked a lot with the Turner South folks before that as a good friend of mine who ran the PR over there, who's not, I think, maybe still in town, but not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
In person, yeah. We'll have to talk afterward, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I've connected. That's the great thing, obviously, about social media. I've connected with some of them and actually just did a project with some of my old bosses. So that was fun.
So let's talk about Atlanta and Company, because I think it's kind of a unique show in this market. I don't think there's anything else like it here. So tell me what is, kind of assume that people don't know what the show is, and let's tell me what is Atlanta and Company.
So I like to put it very simply that Atlanta and Company is like Ellen meets QVC. So I'm the host, I'm the driver. I've got to make it interesting and entertaining. But at the end of the day, clients come on, businesses, national and local, come on to basically have a long form platform to talk about their business. And you're right, as of now, nobody is doing this kind of thing in our market in Atlanta. So I love that we have that opportunity. So it is what we call sales driven, advertorial. So, I might have roofers and plumbers and people selling olive oil. I mean, all in one show, or it's really kind of a mixed bag. And, some people will go, oh, this is just like a long commercial. And what I like to write back is actually look at it as a positive. It's ways for you to learn more about things that you didn't know that you might need or you might want. And it's just it's a long form that's unique in markets. I mean, most markets have them, but right now we're the only one. So I love that.
Yeah. I mean, here and there you'll see kind of short segments that are maybe sort of similar. Like Channel 2 does what do they call it? They do a little, like a 2-minute thing at the end of their noon show. And
yep.
John 46 used to do something, a little segment here and there.
Right.
But you guys tend to be, it's a lot of, I mean, and it's lifestyle, it's things you need, it's things you might want to do, or, as you said, it's a variety, right?
Right. And you know what, Mitch, what's been really fun for me is, and I didn't used to be this way. My husband now says that I'm so salesy, but what happens is when I'm out and about, I maybe didn't do it the first year, but by the second or third year, I'm thinking, who watches the show generally? People like me, women, moms, or women working from home that have it on in the background because they've just watched the Today Show. So if I'm out and I'm meeting someone that is selling anything that I think would appeal to our demographic, I am going, you've got to be on the show. So while I understand like our sales department is going to be trying to find, brands and businesses that also they could apply to news as well. But for me being the host, nobody's going to sell it more than me. Like I get so excited that I know what the show is. I get it. I'm all about it. But if we could have brands on that are going to be appealing to the women who are watching and want to buy, then those are the ones I'm going after.
So the show, I know the show was, let's talk about what time it used to be on, and then we'll talk about what time it's on now, because it's a little bit different, right?
Right. So it was always an hour from 11 to 12. And then, has it already been five years? It expanded to an hour and a half, which was awesome. But then what that afforded us, and we had an amazing producer, shout out Chris Von Seeger, executive producer. he found a way to say, all right, we know that these are paid, but let's start the show off with non-paid, where we're finding out good news in our community. And it's a segment called It's All Good. Let's put on a musical act, that's a non-paid act, so it can feel more news magazine-ish, if that's a word. And so that was fun. Now, when you have 90 minutes, you can do that. So you pack in a lot of paid, but then you can do games. You can do, when big movie stars come to town, you can throw that in. So musical acts. But what's happened because of the pandemic and the political climate of last year, all of a sudden they took back an hour for news. So right now we're still a half an hour every day. I beg and plead, when will we become at least an hour or get back to an hour and a half? Hopefully it will be coming soon. I'm thinking maybe, fourth quarter, I hope, fingers crossed. But, COVID news, health news, and politics has kind of...
Are they doing so it's 11:30 to 12 is the news. Are they doing 12 to 12:30 news also? So
they've gone... Yes, 11:30 to 12 and 12 to 12:30.
Okay. All right, that's okay. Right. Okay. And then for a while you were doing it remotely from remote locations, as so many of us were during the pandemic.
Right here.
I was going to say that for set looks familiar.
This is a nook in my bedroom that I figured because I had one child that was Atlanta Public Schools, so she was remote learning, and another one that was going to private school. And so I'm like, where can I be out of the way? So this is where I was doing the Zoom interviews. And then I picked like a formal room where Channel 11 set up the equipment. I learned how to, call in every day, hook up the IFB, get everything together myself. And then that's where I would basically host the show, where I'm essentially tossing to the Zoom interviews. But I got to say, it was pretty flawless. I mean, we'd have some days where the Wi-Fi was bad because of a storm, but we made it through. And we literally just got back in the studio like 2 weeks ago.
I was going to say it's been, let's see. So when this airs, maybe another 2 weeks down the road. So
I'll tell you, it was, what month are we in? July. So it was June 20th or something. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Okay. Was that reason? Okay. Yeah, because I remember one of your producers shot me a note, or Kelly, I think, sent me a note, said, "Hey, we're back on the air."
Yes,
back in the studio.
Thank goodness. Not guests yet, so we're still Zooming, but just to have Kara, who's been our longtime contributor, I think of her as a co-host. To have that face-to-face where we're not waiting on that darn delay that drove me so crazy, and laughing and interacting and sometimes interrupting, but in the best way, because we're just so excited to be together and to see my floor crew again, the directors, producers, of course. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure. So you've got a good on-air team there. So you've got Kara Kinnear.
Yep.
And then you've got a couple other folks too, right? Who are on air with you. Yeah.
So Kara is primarily the one that does things to care about. She has her own segment. Now she's been doing strictly It's All Good. Normally we would rotate anybody in town that's, kind of a local celebrity. Tom Sullivan has done it several times. But that's Kara's primary role. She's like the main contributor. We have chefs who are contributors. Trying to think of who else she would know besides Tom that's on regularly. Well, what we've lost not having the 90 minutes was we had an awesome Real Talk roundtable, and a lot of people would have an opportunity, men and women, to come on and contribute to timely discussions. So I do miss that. I really do. Trying to get back to that.
No, I'm sure we'll get back to that. At least get back to an hour at some point.
Yes. Please, bosses, if you're listening.
We'll tag them on the on this and say, hey, give us another half hour.
Yeah. People have been asking. People have been like inboxing me, like, go back to an hour. I'm like, I know. All
right. So if you're listening to this or watching this right now, I want you to go and email the who do they need to email?
11 Alive.
11 Alive.
There's a mail message bag.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be called. Yeah. That they'll get it. They'll get it. So.
All right. So we'll get it. We'll get a campaign going and say, get Atlanta and Company back to an hour or an hour and a half.
Yes.
I guess we should kind of explain that there is a cost structure to the segments.
Right.
We don't have to get into exactly how much, but there's a cost structure.
Sure. So when people want to come on, obviously that's the part that's the QVC part of the Ellen Meets QVC. So yeah, it's, the segments are, quite frankly, we kept them pretty low for many, many years. And then we started looking at what other Tegna stations were doing. That's our parent company. And we were like, okay, we're in top 10 market. We've got, we can pull rates. So yeah, it's, $3,500, $2,500 for, 3 minutes, 35 for like 5 minutes. And let me tell you, you can get a lot accomplished in 5 minutes. Your, name and phone number up on the screen the whole time. So it's impactful. And then of course you can blast it out to all of your social media. So I've seen a lot of companies grow as a result of being on the show. And obviously it makes me feel great.
Well, for someone like me who's used to trying to squeeze it all into a minute 20
Right.
for most segments, when they get on the producer, like, you got 5 minutes here. It's like,
right. You're like,
fill up 5 minutes. I gotta figure out some way to do that.
Yeah. You're like, wait, do I have enough to talk about? And then you'll be surprised. They do. So
I think the last time I was on the show, actually I was on the show talking about scouts and camping, but was that a year and a half ago? God,
it was pre-COVID. So
yeah.
It might have even been 2 years ago. I
can't remember when we did that. Okay, so let's do the hard questions now. So, and I gave you a chance to think about this. So, all right, what's the coolest thing about Christine?
Oh God, I know.
That's a hard question, right?
It is a really hard question. I don't feel like there's anything cool about me, but what I will tell you is that I genuinely love people. Again, much to my husband's chagrin, sometimes we'll be at dinner, and if we're sitting at a bar having our dinner, somebody's like, recognize, hey, from the show, I will be like, hi, I just, my mom is the exact same way. I really genuinely take an interest in people and what they do, who they are, how they live their lives. So I don't know if that's cool, but I mean it sincerely, that's just kind of the way I've always been.
That's good. All right. So last book that you've read or podcast that you've listened to?
I'm currently reading a book on how to raise a teenage girl. I also have it on Audible, and I can't remember the name right now. I don't know how well that's going. I'm trying. I think by osmosis, I'm learning. But I really enjoyed Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. If he is an interesting character, and if you just forget about the acting side of him, just his life and the life lessons that have gotten to him to where he is today. Really interesting. I really enjoyed it.
All right. So favorite local restaurant?
Ooh, that is very tough. But, oh God, if I have to say just one, I really love Le Beau Bouquet. I love the atmosphere there. I get the signature Cajun chicken dish every time, have a French 75 to drink, to wash it down. I love it. But I also love chops. I love lobster bar.
Okay. That's okay. You mentioned a couple. Okay. So favorite guilty pleasure?
Favorite guilty pleasure? Well, I would say for me, like knowing that when both my kids are happy and whether they're home and with friends or it's sleepovers is, having a great dinner and a great glass of wine with my husband and finding a new show and watching it together. I know a lot of couples watch different things, but I'm pretty lucky. We like the same types of things. So, maybe just binge watching something on a Friday night. In terms of food, it might be, ordering my favorite Fellini's pizza and then making us ice cream cones of peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah. Okay. Local getaways or someplace you like to go, either, park or resort or just to.
I would say I always love and try to at least once a year. We try to go to the Ritz Lake Oconee. Now it's awesome because I have several friends who have bought homes on Lake Oconee. So now I'm like, okay, thank you for saving me a little money.
There you go.
I love it there. I love it there. And, just growing up in Tampa and then living in the Bay Area and then LA, when I moved here, I'm like, oh boy, I'm a little landlocked. So just being able to explore the lakes and kind of relax and unwind, I love it.
Yeah. All right. Favorite non-work hobby?
Non-work hobby.
And sometimes with people with kids, it's like, I have kids. I don't have any hobbies, right?
I was just about to say that. I mean, carting these kids around is not a hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to, I've worked out since I was pregnant with Caroline, it's going on 13 years at the Forum Athletic Club. It's run by two great guys, former NFL football players. It's right at the bottom level of Lenox. I know some people might not consider working out a hobby, but I love their classes. I went through phases when I was younger. I didn't feeling like I wasn't necessarily athletic, or, didn't really have a whole lot of athleticism. And so this is really, I feel like, made me so much stronger, and hopefully be a good example to the girls that, like, okay, you got to work out, you got to take care of your body, and it also helps you take care of your mind. So I don't know if that's a hobby.
No, that's good. That's good. And that's important to kind of take care of your body and your mind, especially lately, right?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. So if someone wants to be on the show,
Mm-hmm.
what's the best way to do that? Who do they talk to?
The best way to do that is reach out to us. I mean, I have somebody that reached out to me today. They were like, I've been watching, we have you on in our office, and what's the way to do it? So Facebook, inbox,
Okay.
Instagram, also on atlantaandcompany.com. I believe there's a way to contact us. I am on all social media, on Instagram at CD Pullara. I don't know why I did that. Like, I should have just said Christine Pullara. I think I was using like an old email. Clearly I was not cool on social media when I created that. But I try to get back to everybody, or on my Facebook page. I have a Christine Pullara page and an Atlanta Company page. But we get back with you as soon as we can, and just say, I'm interested in the process. Once, you agree to it, is fairly simple.
Yeah. And I guess, I would say, as I always say with folks, watch the show and understand the segments.
Right.
And if you think that you've got a segment that is a sales segment, then it's a sales segment. But if you've got a segment that you think might be a good news segment or something where it's not a paid segment, then kind of look that way too.
Thank you, because I do get so approached so often with people like, can you please feature this? Can you please feature that? And I'm going, well, maybe they haven't seen the show to know that I can't, but I'll try to point you in the right direction. And I will say quickly, it's so interesting. And maybe this will be my second act, Mitch, is like doing some sort of media training, because I see so many people, and, you pay to come on, and it's my job to make them shine. I'm not turning, Barbara Walters on them, asking them, questions that they don't want to answer. Like,
right.
It's my job to get the points across that they want to get across. And it is heartbreaking when a company does not send out their best representative to do it. And I'm just like, come on, I got you. I'm on, So, and maybe that will be my next chapter, because, you're paying good money, and you want, so if anybody's listening and you want to have your company come on, just remember, have the best spokesperson that's so passionate and energetic convey your message. That's you're selling yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't put any clients on TV without putting them through media training. It's not it used to be an option with my clients, and now I just say it's not an option. Yeah. It's just built in. You gotta do the training.
Absolutely. And again, I don't want to see anybody waste their money or have their phones not ring because the person, lacked energy or whatever. And, it's a big deal. I always say it's like your 5 minutes to shine, just be passionate.
Well, and you've got to think about it. I mean, I've seen, not necessarily on your show, but I've seen interviews where people are, they sit down with the reporter and they haven't thought about what they want to say. They haven't practiced it. They haven't thought it through. And the reporter asks them a basic question and they just, don't have an answer to it.
And the problem is, again, this is in an interview with somebody that's a non-paid segment. Like if I'm interviewing an actor or a musician, like, you know, there's a lot of give and take and back and forth, and I've done my homework on this person. With a paid segment, I can't go off the rails. You know, meaning I can't ask them something that has not been included in the material that they want me to ask, because
right.
That's not what the way the segment's supposed to be. So
Right.
I don't want to throw anybody off while I'm grappling with how to get them back on track. So that's my biggest thing, you know, especially now as we go into, hopefully, back in the studio with live guests, fourth quarter, people really, you know, wanting to, if they got PPP money, maximize their dollars to bring in business. Make it worth your while, guys. Choose the best people to convey it.
Do you guys ever go remote?
We do. That's extra, but we do. But it's not, in my humble opinion, it's not as bad as you would think. And the crew comes out, and then and myself or Kara, or sometimes myself and Kara, which is a lot of fun. And it makes a big difference. So if it's, you know, definitely like a vacation resort or some place that really would be more impactful, being on site than in the studio just showing pictures,
right,
we definitely do that too.
Well, and there's some things you can't bring a spa necessarily into the studio, but you know, if you were going to a spa and you want to really show the experience, you know, it's one thing to show B-roll of the place, but to have you and Kara
laying in the chair, getting some new technology, that makes a bigger impact than watching it being done. But again, not everybody can afford it, you know. But it's worthwhile if they can, because it's great. And then you have your own self-contained video to post on your website. And so
well, and there's some clients and some products that don't lend themselves to regular news kind of coverage, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and some messages and some kind of depth of detail. I mean, you're not necessarily, I don't know, I'll use a carpet company as an example. That unless there's an issue with carpet or some other way that they're going to get into a traditional news story, this is a great way for them to tell their story.
The best. I had a doctor come on years ago, best example, and she came on until COVID. So she was my longest running client. And this was the first person that I guess I got my sales skills on. It was like 4 facials, and she's a wonderful doctor. And I said, I'm curious, what do you pay to be in one of our Atlanta magazines? And she told me, and I said, do you know, for that same amount, you could be on Atlanta and Company for 5 minutes rather than have somebody go and turn the page?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And she came on once a month. I saw her grow her business. She moved into 2 separate, she upgraded buildings twice. Like it was so gratifying for me, because I was like, we have the audience for her. So it was awesome.
Well, and that's the other thing. It's the demographics of what you are, who your audience is for in her product. I mean, that's a boom. That's a fit there.
Right. That was the fit. I'm, trying, who did I just have a light bulb go off? Oh, I'm from Tampa, St. Pete. I'm a proud Tampa, St. Pete girl. Love it. I'm going there in 2 weeks. So I've been seeing all these ads for Tampa, St. Pete tourism. I got on the phone. I made some calls. I'm like, nobody is going to sell your area. I'm going to say, don't go to 30A. It's too congested. For 2-hour drive more or a 1-hour flight, you can be right on the sandy beaches of St. Pete Clair. So, and that's, travel. That's what my viewers like. It's really a no-brainer. Health, wellness, mentally and physically, beauty, home. When it gets heavy on home, I feel like people are like, all right, let's mix in a facial. Tell me something else.
Right.
It's too much of the same.
Yeah. Well, that's why you and the team got to you mix it up a little bit. Christine, this has been great. I want to thank you again for taking some time on a Friday afternoon.
Listen, thank you for even wanting to chat. I've always admired you, and just so appreciate it. And thank you for being patient with me while I went to go get my happy little camper all the way. I'm not
Absolutely.
sure I
Absolutely.
brushed my hair today, but I put on some makeup for you.
There you go. All right. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mitch.
Great. Thanks everyone for joining us, and join us next week or maybe the week after. It is the summer. I might take a vacation for next edition of our 4 Questions Journalist Spotlight.